Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to make a quick, fun card. This card is a just because card. Like you send your friend a card just because, no real reason behind it. I figured that I could send this to one of my friends, my best friend, or even my aunt, um, and put a picture of the baby in there, or even me, because I haven't been taking pictures lately. So I'm using this Darice assorted clocks embossing folder. We're going to use this 7 Gypsies time. Nope, no number on there. So I don't like when they don't put numbers, names, but they have a number. So you can check the number out right there. And then I'm going to be using this unbranded clocks as well. And then I'm trying to do things more of the same in different formats. So what I did is I embossed these and then I put this, oh, wait, which one is it? I embossed these and then I put this one in backwards. So this could be the debossed side. So this is the embossed side, and just a different location of the clocks. I am using some pre-scored paper from Cardstock Warehouse, but it's scored improperly, a little bit off. I always tell you all that. So it's not always brandy that's off a little bit. So now what I want to do, I want to de-stress this, and that's why I picked this color, these darker colors, because I was like, they look good in masculine colors versus lighter colors like white or light colors. But I do want to distress this a little bit. I'm going to use vintage photo. Even though this paper is already cream color, I do want to just go around the edges. And I think for myself, I like that when you use your distress and you use the embossing fold, it kind of pops out the image. Even though I'm going to cover this up, I wanted to, and I may try it again later. I just want to stamp out the clocks all over the paper, and then emboss it. But somehow that technique, that thought process got lost in craft translation to something totally different, because I wasn't going to do the clocks. I was going to do another uh, thing, but I was like, no, because I've been wanting to play with these clocks for like a month now. I had pulled them out when I was sorting stuff. That crazy sorter lady is definitely still in my house. And so when I've been sorting, I just wanted to pull it out. I pulled it out and I wanted to play around with the clocks. I just wanted to see how they would look, and kind of party with them a little bit. And that's what I did this morning, even though the entire thought process is totally different now. If you have embossing folders and you have a big hole punch, you could definitely, even with this clock right here, um, you can, like I did on that another project that I took the clocks out, you can definitely try that. And with your hole punch, like punch out these circles and stuff, because I think that would be so cute. Like taking the emboss and then cut it out. It's kind of like die cutting the stamped image, but it's raised, it's detailed, so you don't have to worry about it. And I am just going back in over it just to work it in. So I'll do that off camera and come back once I finish getting the color I'm looking for, the antiquing, I guess. All right, so I just had to see how it would look. So I went in, got a white piece of paper, stamped it out a few times, and colored it up. And I like it. It's so cute. But this is the one that we were working on. We're going to continue to work on that one. So what I went and did is I stamped out a few of the little clocks. And now what I'm going to do is take a different color distress and color them up really quickly. I've told you all that I cheat now sometimes without using my colored pencils or anything. I just take them and kind of just take a ink pad or a distress marker or crayon, not crayon, distress ink pad, and kind of just what I'm doing now, which is inking it up and not really being too concerned about it. This ink, I don't know where it's from. I don't know the name of it. And it's not even working. Ah, because it's so light, I can barely see it. I don't think that one's working. Let's see. Let's try another one. Let's try this one. Because this color's going to look good on brown, right? I don't know. What's going on over here? Let's see. Alright. It's doing something. It's a little dry. And I'm keeping them fairly closed, I think. They do sit in front of the windowsill, though. And sometimes I get sun right here. But when I get sun right here, I'm never sitting here. So, and sometimes I forget to close the shade. So if you look at this, it looks like a little face. Like the eyes. And like his glasses and his nose or whatever. Or if you turn it upside down, it looks like he's looking at you kind of funny. I think that's cool though. And then I'm going to have to fussy cut these out because my circle punch, the one that I have closest by, is too big. So let me just show you. Too big. So what I'll do is I'll stamp out the other clock that I have and hopefully it fits. Alright, so I took one of the embossing folders that I showed you originally and I cut out the emboss piece, and then I should have distressed it, but I didn't. So I'm going to do that really quickly. But here are the other pieces that I stamped out and cut out. And I think sometimes it's better to have more versus less because you can always take away once you get the desired look, but you know, sometimes you can't add once you put all this stuff up or whatever. Kind of the opposite of cooking. You can always add to, but you can't take away too much salt, right? All right, so here we go. They are now raised black soot is what I used. And I was, you know, I had used yellow on here. I was like, oh, you use yellow again? Really? What's going on with you and yellow? And I don't know. I mean, I just think that we have a great relationship lately, so why not use it? Let's see. And the reason why I did this one like this, and I was thinking of doing it like this, is because when I put all these little raised pieces on, I want it to be all different. But I originally wanted to stamp out the stamps in a different color, so I'll have to do that another time. Let's see, I got my foam tape going on over here. Get this going. You know, when you see cards, like if you go out shopping and you see like a pretty card that's kind of like dimensional and stacked up and has all this cool stuff on it, do you look at it for the beauty of it, or do you look at it and you be like, I can make that? Or do you look at it and say, how did they make that? Because whenever I see cards, I'm just like, that is neat. Make sure I put the time on properly. So here we go. Here we go. This definitely makes me think of Alice in Wonderland. Even though I'm not a huge Alice in Wonderland person, I'm not a professed, like I know everything about it type of person, but I do like it. It's a cute little movie. And if you've ever watched American Pickers, you know, they have an episode where they go to the person that created some of the artwork for it, and it's just very interesting how the first workings of the rabbit. It's really cool. Some of the things, you know, not that I am encouraging what I'm about to say, but some of the stuff that people have done in the past was definitely induced by something versus natural highs and natural happiness. So, you know, a lot of people aren't happy with people that indulge in things like that. So just think about it like this. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten some of the cool things that we got if people weren't indulging, right? What I'm going to do now, because that is really, in my opinion, still flat, too flat, I'm going to take another punch out, just a plain one, and glue it to this piece with a thin strip of tape. Since I'm giving it to a non-craft, I don't want it to be over the top. But I do want it to have, you know, some cuteness to it. My aunt if I do get this to mine. She's very into what I create. I tell you all that all the time. And she likes to brag on me, which I don't really like that she does. I'm not sure any person who does like for their family members to brag on them. My mom was really bad about that too when she was here. And I would tell her, no one cares about your good fortune. No one cares, no one really cares that you're doing good. People in general, if they're not doing good, they definitely don't want to know that you're doing good, which is kind of sad. But our society is a bit backwards, and you always hear me say that about our society. And it kind of sucks, but that's where we are. And hopefully, one day we'll get it right. I doubt it, but hopefully, it's always hope. We can always hold out hope for things like that. And I am choosing to just put everything kind of like up, gathered around this one spot. And it kind of looks like cogs in a machine, which is really cool. I could have fixed these and not put this one right there, but hindsight being what it is. Uh-oh, got too much fud, too much foam. I didn't know, I didn't even remember I had put this on there already. And then we're just going to put the inside and it will be done. And I'm going to stamp it out probably on, I'm going to try and stamp it out on 2 circles, like 2 clock circles. And we'll see how that works. I'm just looking at the clock to make sure I got the time correct over here. But I think I'm going to just do it like that and put this little guy right there. So it kind of looks like a cog, and you still see the embossing. I really like this embossing folder a lot. I really like embossing folders. That's why I grabbed, I have a few. But I did not always use them, and I want to thank Wonder Dreamer 555. Whenever I watch her videos, I just get inspiration from her. We all get inspiration from everybody, but whenever I watch videos from certain people, I'm like, hey, I want to try that. And so I just whip out whatever it is that they've gotten and they've used, and I'm like, I can try that. I want to try it. I want to try it. So that is why you want to be subscribed to a random assortment of people, not the same person, not the same people that do the same thing that you do. You want to be subscribed to those people as well and other people, so you can always get more inspiration. I'm going to do something slightly backwards, unfortunately. We're going to have to see how this is going to work out. I'm going to take that and I'm going to punch out the word, stamp out the words, and then what I'm going to do is you can't see it at all, but it's right here, and I have a little smudge on there, no big deal. My fingers are all smudged up, probably from the black soot and the other distress that I've used. But what I'm going to do is stamp this out, and then I'm going to take a sheet of paper, if you can see it, and then I'm going to try to put clocks all around it, because the inside of that folder is embossed, so I don't want to put this right on top of the embossing, but we'll see how this works out. And you see this Best of Times is a little bit faded, so that's something to keep in mind when I get ready to stamp on here, that if I stamp it wrong, I don't get a chance to fix it. But if I stamp it right, it's still going to look kind of off, so that's okay. I'm going to try and center it as best as possible, even though I didn't center it on the block. And it came out just wonderful. Alright, so I am just going around the paper and stamping the clock out a little bit. And I don't want it to get the same angle around it, the same clock angle I did on this one. So I'm just trying to get all of the clock on here, just at different parts. It's a novel that starts off like this, the best of time and the worst of time, right? It's required for how, well, I don't know now, but it's required for read. It was required for reading. Is it Moby Dick? Call Me Ishmael, I think, something like that. So yeah, that's where we are right here. I like it. I hope you do. You do like it as well. And now I don't know why I moved this. I'm going to go back in and distress it with my seems like favorite little distress, which is Vintage Photo, and then I'll put it in the center. All right, so this is how our card is looking thus far, and the reason why I stamped this in red, I wanted it to be a little bit different. And let's see if I can clean my fingers really quickly. All right, so let's go ahead and put this card down. And I had got a spam caller, and I was writing information down. So I was like, oh, I could just use this sheet of paper. So that's what this is on the background. Oh no, if you're wondering. And look, it just, I should have embossed that, right? I should have embossed this, but it's too late. And I want to keep this inside flat since it's going to close like that. But this is our card. I hope that you've enjoyed making this time card with me. And I think what I'm going to do, no, I was going to step a little memories right here. I think I may try that off camera. So this is how the card looks. I hope that you like it, and let me know in the comments if you have embossing folders and what's your favorite thing to do with them besides just emboss. Until next time, happy crafting.